to Local Legends with me, Jess, your host. And this is the Arizona edition. And please let me welcome my favorite, actually my second favorite, Michael.
Ooh.
My son is my favorite Michael.
Yeah.
Michael Santini, Mike Santini, a.k.a. Machine. What else do you go by?
You
Maniac.
covered it.
I covered it? Okay.
You covered it. I'm Mike Santini, a.k.a. Machine.
Yeah. From New York.
From Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. And the reason I asked you to be on this is because I truly believe you are a local legend. Because I think, actually I want to go back. I think you were the second person I met here in Arizona.
Well, I was thinking about this last night, and if I met you on the day that I think I met you on, it was the day my house burned down.
Yes, it was.
That was the first time we met?
Yes.
Okay, that was pretty crazy.
So I meet Jason,
yeah.
right? I meet Jason. He comes to New Jersey. We get set up. And then 2 weeks later, I come out here because I don't think I moved here. I was visiting.
Okay.
Or maybe it was his second time. I don't know. But he wanted to introduce me to his friends.
Yeah.
And you were the second friend I think he introduced me to. And what happened? Did you guys come over because your house burnt down, or did we meet you out?
No, what happened exactly was my house was burning down.
Yeah.
So I called Jay and I said, hey, if you're home, can you please come by my place?
Yes.
I got to drop some stuff off in your trunk before the firemen got there.
Right.
So he came over. I put a bunch of stuff in his car and then met you. And then Frankie and I drove over to your house, and we stayed there for a couple of days.
Oh my gosh, yes.
While we got things resolved with the insurance companies and stuff.
That's so funny.
But that was a very wild scenario.
Yeah. And that was like 17, 18 years ago?
Not everybody has a house fire.
No,
that was probably
they
2008. So do the math.
Yeah.
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 So we're going back 17 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So then...
Because I still consider you new out here. And
so do I.
Yeah.
Actually, when I say 17 or 18 years, like it still doesn't feel like that long ago. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's weird. Now, how long have you been out here?
See, this place is a black hole.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm out here was because in the winter of 96, we had the worst nor'easter in all time recorded history.
Yep, I remember that.
Literally 38 inches of snow on the ground. Wind chills were like minus 40.
Yep.
Wind chills are minus 40. It's a Saturday. I'm watching TV. I turn on Arizona State versus USC. Everybody's wearing booty shorts and tank tops. Right. And I literally, for the first time in my life, because we didn't have social media back then.
Right.
We didn't have any way to see the outside world.
Right.
So if you weren't watching football on Channel 7 on Saturdays, you didn't know what was going on in California.
Yeah.
I had no idea that this little world existed that was such a big world outside of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Right? So I called Frankie up at that point in time.
Now,
and I
Frankie, where's Frankie live?
Well, Frankie lived in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, so I met Frankie in kindergarten.
Oh my gosh.
I know Frankie for the entirety of my life.
Okay.
All right? Know him 42 years. Now, I call him. I say, we're getting robbed, this, that, the other thing. And he's like, what the hell is your point? We both bet the game, obviously.
Okay.
So what's your point? And I'm like, bro, we need to go to school out there. I'm like, you're going to St. John's in Queens. I'm going to St. Francis, downtown Brooklyn. We're both commuting. It's a horrible lifestyle, I think. And look at what's going on out there. I'm like, literally, we're getting robbed of our college years. So we decided to apply. We both got in.
ASU?
Neither one of us told our parents we were applying. I didn't go on a visit. I applied. I got the packet in the mail. And then I literally said to my parents at dinner, hey, I got into Arizona State. I'm going to be going there in August.
Right.
And this was probably in March of the year before. So of that year.
Yeah.
Right. So I finished the school year out at St. Francis, and nobody believed I was going because nobody leaves the East Coast.
No one leaves.
I don't think anybody
Same
leaves
thing.
Jersey, but nobody
Ever.
leaves Brooklyn
No.
unless they go to Jersey or Staten Island.
Right.
So all of my friends, all of my family, they either thought I wasn't going to go or they thought I'd be back in 2 weeks.
Totally. Yep.
It was one of the two.
Yep.
It's like 25 years later, I still haven't gone back.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So
now
you
I
both
visit
came.
3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get a heavy dose of family,
That's
and
it.
it's
You
always
get the hell back.
during the holidays
Yep.
when I get to see the most people. So for instance, this Christmas,
Right.
went back to Long Island, ended up going to my cousin's house on the island, 30 family members. It was a great Christmas.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And that's it.
And it's amazing to visit, right? It's amazing to get the feel. And no one's changed one bit, right?
Yeah, right.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah. There's
but
little growth in human beings on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's wild.
And I'm not saying that to make fun of anybody.
No, agreed.
It's just it's a more tangible world.
Yeah.
Let me explain myself. So when you take people from places like the hard-nosed people from the Bostons, the Brooklyns, if they can't feel it, if they can't touch it, they don't believe it. It could happen. Right. It's the same way. It's the same reason why people, I think that we have a way bigger pharmaceutical drug. I wouldn't say it's a problem. I would say it's just an acceptance on the East Coast and on the West Coast. So in Arizona, people try to seek as much alternative medicine as possible before they put themselves on prescriptions. On the East Coast, the first thing to do is go to the doctor. If you're having anxiety, you get an SSRI, you get some sort of diazepam, and now you're calm.
Yeah.
It's the first method on the East Coast. It's like the fifth method on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I prefer this model a lot better, though.
Same.
I feel as though our bodies are created to heal themselves. We are healing machines. Been around for millions of years, if not hundreds of millions of years. I don't care what the textbooks say.
Yep.
And traditional medicine has only been around for a certain amount of time. So for us to go completely reliant on us and us to completely forget about the fact that our bodies are healing machines, it's for a better lack of words, it's rather stupid if you just think about it.
Yeah.
We've been around for so many years without medicine, and we did fine. And now we've been around with medicine, and we have the sickest society we've ever had.
Yeah.
So something's going on.
Yeah.
Whether it's our food, it's our air, it's our water, whatever it is that we're putting in our systems, whatever it is that we're getting fed. I'm sure cell phone frequencies have a little bit to do with it. I think it's a capitulation of a lot of things that are making us sicker and sicker.
Right.
But we can't hold the world back technology-wise, so we got to push these things forward, and we have to figure out a way to cure these diseases. And I think that AI can be and quantum computing can be a huge part of actually fixing people.
Really?
Not putting people on medications for the rest of their life for chronic illness.
Okay.
Actually get to the bottom, the root cause of why people have diabetes, clean their diet up, make them exercise, do the right things, actually cure the disease itself, not just knock the symptoms down.
Right. So now you're going into physics and psychology and all that stuff. When you came out here, how old were you when you came out here then?
I don't remember.
19,
I think
20?
it was the early 20s.
Okay. So when you came out here, what was your, you came to ASU. Did you have a major? Did you have what was your kind of go-to?
So I went to ASU to go to ASU.
Okay. So
then I kind of had to figure out why I was going to ASU.
So booty shorts and tank tops was like the drive.
I wasn't always the best student. I graduated with a 3.5 GPA from ASU, but I had one semester that I got a 0.07.
Right.
Did you say in the smiling? So yeah, it's great. This was the one where my mother called me up from the basement.
Yeah.
And she asked me to have a seat. My 0.7, my 0.07 semester. And she told me I wasn't cut out for college. I got a 4.0 every single semester after that because she did light a fire inside me.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with her, and I told her that I was coming back to Arizona State, whether she liked it or not. I was working at the time, and I was taking care of my own business. So it was definitely more of a wish than a threat to my mom, but I did say it kind of threatening as far as just, hey, I'm going to go back. I understand I screwed up. I'm going to prove you wrong.
Right.
I need one more chance out of you. Please talk to daddy, but I'm going back.
Yeah.
So I went to sleep that night, woke up, and they both got behind me, and that was the history in the books. Because from that point on, I actually had a conversation with myself, started to take a lot of accountability at that point in my life, and decided that if I was going to commit to a school, then I was going to learn.
Right. So did you graduate with anything?
So I graduated with a degree in exercise science.
Okay.
I minored in psychology
Okay.
and like business marketing and stuff like that. So I
Right.
bounced around a lot.
Uh-huh.
And it was an interdisciplinary studies degree. So it was like 3 majors wrapped into one, which was pretty cool. And it was pretty new at the time.
Okay.
I don't know what they do with it now. I'm not up on the school systems anymore.
Right. But you graduated, you worked for a while. Were you in finance when I met you? Or was
I might have been trading stock, but
Yes, I think you were.
So I'm always gambling, always trading stock,
Okay.
always training people, always.
Yeah.
I'm just always doing
Skills.
business.
Those were your skills.
Yeah, I'm always doing business.
Okay. And then after that, I moved out here when everything crashed and burned and beside your house, the market was shit and
No,
we
I
lost
remember.
our house. And
well, you
everything
moved
was-
out, and Jay lost the residence that he was living. Or you
Everything.
guys had to move out of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So when did when did that machine mentality come?
So my
into place?
nickname Machine, I got it in either 99 or 2000.
Oh, okay. That's been
So
I've known you.
that's been a part of my life for my entire adult life.
Mm-hmm.
I received a nickname when I was 18, 19, or 20 years old.
Because why?
It was
Backflips?
my antics in life
Yeah.
on the football field, the way I played hockey, the way I trained,
Okay.
and there were a couple of other reasons, and it just stuck. I liked it
Mm-hmm.
because it gave me a persona that I was half man, half machine.
Yeah.
And I've always been a fitness guy since I'm 12 years old.
Okay, so
And I
that's
think
always been
Mikey's going to be the same way
Yeah.
as me. I truly, and I'm just going to bounce off the subject for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe if you start on your fitness journey when you're younger, it's very easy to maintain muscle through your older ages.
Yeah.
It's the people who start a little bit later that do struggle.
Mm-hmm.
But this nickname thing, now that we're on it, let's talk about it for a second. So I've been doing a lot of deep dives into why and how things occur in life, and how words matter. And we're living in a situation where if you scroll TikTok, you'll get, maybe 50% of your feed will be motivational posts, and people are talking about self-talk, and now it's becoming a thing. But this is something that it's been a relevant factor in my life since around 2014 or 2015, where I really started putting intentions into things. Now I've fallen off from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that my vibration is very high right now.
Right.
So I'm doing very well. But a lot of my my self checks in life, as far as whether or not I think I'm like staying on track or I'm actually performing the right way, is by doing weekly audits, which I never did before. So when I say I'm vibrating high, it's an intentional high vibration that I'm really focused on. And then you can just kind of go away and not believe in certain things, or if you're hanging around with a certain crowd. Picture something as simple as you praying before you eat. And then you go out with a new group of people and you don't know how they're going to receive that. So if you start to talk spiritual around maybe somebody that's new in your life, whether it's a work partner or a real partner as far as a romantic relationship goes, and they're not really on board with that, you could get taken off of your spiritual journey for just a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you can bring yourself back into it, each time you'll be a better version of yourself.
Okay.
So if you're on a strong spiritual journey for 3 to 5 years, and then you meet somebody or something happens in your life, maybe somebody passes away that you didn't think should have passed away at that time, and now all of a sudden you're in a little bit more of a hatred mentality, more so than the spiritual mentality where the universe has me exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. And you hear people talk like this, and they write it on words and put it on walls. I put words on bottles and stuff. So I believe that words do matter and all that. I got off track for a second. What was the last thing we were talking about? I know we were
Believing in
talking
yourself, intention, the high vibration, staying on track.
And all of
bringing
these
yourself
things
back.
have to be, it's work. It's work, like relationships are work, like work is work, like working on yourself is work. You cannot neglect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you neglect yourself, now what you're doing is exactly what they tell you not to do when you're on an airplane. So you have to make sure your mask is secure before you start helping out the people around you.
Right. Yep.
So if you are not in a good place, you cannot do these type of things. You cannot give people advice. You can't help people. You can't be a motivating factor in this world.
Right.
And we need more motivating factors in this world right now.
Yeah.
We need more unity. I know I'm jumping around a little bit. So if you want to hone in on anything, just let me know. But this is something that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about community. And this is one of the major reasons why I started Machine Mentality Performance.
Okay. Yeah.
So Mentality Performance is just the overall brand. Machine Mentality Performance is my training company.
Okay.
KC Grips is my product company.
Yep.
Mentality Performance sells a lot of merchandise, a lot of motivating artwork, intentional water bottles. So we broke off, and now we have a company called Bottled Intentions.
Yeah.
So we're actually providing the water bottles with positive affirmations and a positive intention written on the outside of the bottle.
Yep.
There is some scientific proof that this does work. So there was a Japanese scientist, his name was Dr. Masaru Emoto. Mm-hmm. Back in the 80s and 90s, he ran a water experiment. So what he did to try to prove intentions was he took Petri dishes and wrote positive intentions on the outside of, well, let's just hypothetically say there were 10 dishes. 5 of them got positive affirmations written on them. You're beautiful, you're healthy, you're great. 5 of them got negative connotations written on them. So you're ugly, you're a bad person. They were flash frozen, these Petri dishes. Mm-hmm. Every single one that had a positive intention or connotation written on it froze like a beautiful symmetrical crystal that had awesome coloration. You would hang it from your Christmas tree and you wouldn't think twice. Every single one that had a negative intention written on it came out discolored, unsymmetrical, something that you wouldn't want anywhere near you, let alone to hang on your Christmas tree at your house during the holidays. Wow. So women and popular culture are more familiar with the movie and the book, The Secret. Mm-hmm. This water experiment shows up in that movie at some point in time.
Oh, okay.
So it's in there.
Okay.
And there's a lady standing on a train station, and I think that this is The Secret. Mm-hmm. She's standing on a train station platform, and she says, our bodies are 70 to 80% water. Could you imagine if we actually put intentions behind the water we put in our body? I think it was just one word like that. Yeah. I don't know it verbatim, but I think it was a phrase, something like that. And I watched that movie back in 2008 I don't know when it came out. Okay. The first one I watched was called What the Bleep Down the Rabbit Hole, and it was about quantum physics and intentions. And I watched that movie in probably 2005 and 2006. And that's when I really understood, first of all, that this whole entire universe is a rabbit hole, and the further you dig, the further you'll go, and you won't ever get the right answers.
Right.
So this is the whole red pill, blue pill thing.
Yeah, yeah.
If you take the red pill, watch out, because I talk to my sister about this all the time. My sister's a school teacher, I think first, second grade, something like that.
Yeah.
And she lives in a little bubble, and when I try to talk to her about conspiracies or crazy stuff, she just doesn't want to hear about it, and she loves the fact that she lives in this little bubble.
Yep.
I don't live in that bubble. So in my brain, there are a lot of crazy things going on. Mm-hmm. But when I watched this What the Bleep Down the Rabbit Hole, and they started to talk about things on a quantum level, molecular structures of water, how intentions, even if it's food, if we have the right intentions while we're eating, right, could make the experience a lot better. And what I mean by the experience, the nutrients will be absorbed in our bodies a lot better.
Interesting.
And if we can cheat the code a little bit, right? Why wouldn't we?
Right.
So instead of doing everything in life in a rush with a non-intention, we're getting about half of what we could be getting out of this life.
Right.
And I don't know if 50% is the number. I'm just using that as an analogy, but yeah, something around there.
Yeah. Well, it's making me think of like recently, there was a competition at work and I intentionally, like, I did everything that I should be doing in my business intentionally for that period of time. It was like a March Madness competition and everything was points, like just really sales activities that you should be doing for your business every day. And I double, tripled these activities because for me, I wanted to beat every single person in that company. Like the company's in Philadelphia, we have loan officers everywhere. And I wanted that. So I was going to do everything. And these are sales activities that, again, the past 4 years I should be doing to just continue to grow my business. I know they work, but because that goal was to win, I intentionally did all these. And it was wild how I didn't even think really about doing them, but the intention was to win. So I did them. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm thinking about that right now. Like imagine if I had an intentional plan to really eat well and feed my body well and work out.
Yeah.
Like that would be, I just don't have that. I don't have, but if I had that intention, like I proved that to myself.
I often have to ask people how much you want that. If it's a priority, then it's pretty easy to go about. You set a program, you set a plan.
Yeah.
We don't have to guess anymore because the data's available.
Right.
So, I mean, with the proper supplementation, the proper exercise, and the proper nutrition, there's no reason why anybody can't get to any goal that they want to get to. But you also have to believe in the goal.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing about the woo-woo factor. What you hear, like, I guess the term has been around forever, but it's recently used more and more. I think that's with everything.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think that anybody's successful at something that they don't believe in.
Right. No, I agree.
You have to be a real psychopath to be at the top of the game of something you truly don't believe in.
Exactly. Right.
You have to be like some sort of lunatic.
Right.
No, I'm just saying.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So if you really want it, and as ambitious of as a person as you are, like, this is easy.
Yeah.
But there's fun in life that people don't want to necessarily. And not everybody has to look like they're walking on stage.
Right.
It all depends on what you want out of life. I think you look great.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
You have to think you look great.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I think of myself if everybody else sees me as... And you see people walking around as if they are Adonises, and obviously they're not. I ask them where they're buying their mirrors.
Right.
I'm like, where do you shop for your mirrors? Because I can't believe you just walked out like this.
Right.
But this is this part of it, and I give them props for being confident.
Exactly.
But it's all there's no perfect anything.
Right.
There are people that are living unhealthy, and I think they know it, and they're not doing anything about it, and then they're going to end up with chronic illness.
Yep.
And then at that point, it might be a little bit too late for them to turn it around.
Yeah.
So
what does your community look like? Like, you now are at Self-Made, right? That gym.
Yeah.
How'd you end up there?
So 3 years ago, I had a falling out with a business partner, and Machine Mentality Performance was created in Sedona on a ceremonial trip.
Oh, nice.
With some of
Did
my...
Did you do ayahuasca?
No, this was San Pedro. So it's ayahuasca's milder cousin.
Okay.
So you can actually do this with a group of people in a creek in Sedona, and
were you nude?
Have a real...
Is it like a weird...
No, we didn't. No. No, it's not.
Okay.
There's nothing freaky about it. We listen to music. We put intentions behind what we're going to do that day, what we want, what we expect to get out of it. Then we go through it. And a lot of the times you have to go through a lot of trauma. But that specific day, machine mentality was born.
Okay. So you came out of it and like, oh my God, this is
no,
my business?
A wild scenario happened where I was with two of my most senior athletes, and it was determined that this business wasn't going to be good with my ex-business partner anymore.
Okay.
And that's when it was born.
Okay.
And then a few months later, it did fall out because the intuitions were right.
Right.
And I was able to pick up the pieces. And listen, the way I said it at the time and the way I still say it is that I was the big brother to most of these guys. And you can take the DJ out of the club, but you're going to lose a lot of your crowd.
Right.
So a lot of the guys followed with me, even though we did have a pretty bad separation.
Right.
It doesn't really matter at this point. Completely moved on from that and completely picked up the pieces. And now I have some really good stuff going on.
Yeah.
So without that, this doesn't happen.
Right.
Without every failure in my life, this doesn't happen.
Right.
So, I mean, that whole thing as far as, picking yourself up and dusting yourself off, it's pretty great, but you can't hold good people down. And good times don't last. Good people outlast bad times. Yeah. Bad times don't last is what I meant to say.
So then you move over to self-made. Machine mentality, just kind of you take some clients. Were you at the old company with your partner? When did you guys set out to train young athletes or young kids?
All right. So this isn't something I want to spend too much time on just because it's just so much nonsense and the whole entire community knows about it. I've been doing this for a very long time.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I brought him on as a partner.
I don't care about him.
I introduced him to 50 people.
Okay.
We trained them together in the summer of 2019. And then after the summer, I thought we had a pretty good business relationship together.
Yeah.
I knew he was a little bit shady, but I dealt with that.
Right.
He was married at the time. I was like, all right, I'm getting involved with a married dude. So I know that he's not going to be out doing wild things in clubs. Certain things happened at the first gym we were training at, and then certain things happened at the second gym we were training at, and then we opened up a spot together, and that's when we had our falling out. So there's a constant, just following this person around, there's just a constant trail of trauma.
Yeah.
There was a situation in his life where his marriage didn't work out, and that completely fell into the business.
Right.
So that's how I ended up at Self-Made.
Okay.
And that
solo. It's just you.
So now I run that, and I have some younger guys that aren't so young anymore, like 25, 26 years old, that will help me train my younger athletes. And when I do expand the brand, they will be a part of it.
That's awesome.
So I have a lot of room for growth in everything I'm doing right now.
Right.
So, I want to build a community with over 1 million people in it within the next 5 years. Okay. So we got to get the first 10,000 in the first year and a half or so. So 18 months to build a community of 10,000. Okay. That's my first and foremost goal. So I have this built out to me, basically taking over the world as far as mental health and physical fitness in a huge community. We need to change things in this world right now.
Agreed.
One of the biggest things that we need to change is we need to get away. I don't know how this happened, if COVID had something to do with it, but we need to get away from individualistic behavior. We live in such a selfish society right now. I expect that out of the global elite. I don't expect that out of your neighbors in the middle class, but you see people shunning people. You see people treating people like garbage. Nobody can handle the least bit of trauma at any point in time. We need to build stronger individuals, and we need to have people help each other out and work together in this world. If we don't do that, we're actually going to lose this earth. Yeah. So somebody has to do it. Why wouldn't it be somebody like me?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. I have the ability to do this type of work. The world needs me. I'm stepping up.
Okay.
So that's this is the reason why I'm doing all of the things I'm doing. I need the motivational shirts and the motivational gear in order for the brand to get recognition out in society.
Yep.
I need bottled intentions for people to understand that if they're ingesting powerful things into their body, and there's no claims, you're putting your own liquid in there.
Right.
It's just the intention on the outside of the bottle. We have so much negative self-talk.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is a fact, but if you know who Andrew Bustamante is, he's a podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
Everyday Spy is his company. He is quoted saying that we have 48,000 negative thoughts per day per individual. Now, I did the math on that, and that's every 2 to 3 seconds. I don't know if everybody's having a negative thought every 2 seconds, but even if it's 5 a minute,
yeah,
right? Even if it's 5 a minute, so one every 10 to 12 seconds, I think that's too many.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
So I know that we drink constantly throughout the day.
Yeah.
And if you're able to see I'm loved or I'm limitless or I'm powerful or I'm blessed or something that resonates with you. Because if somebody really wants an affirmation on the bottle that I don't offer, I can just do that for them.
Right.
So these are personalized as well. The supplement company had to be there because I needed to be able to provide people with the best supplements possible that were coming from me, but were also manufactured in the United States. Mm-hmm. With what's going on right now with tariffs and what's going on with shipping and customs, I don't trust overseas supplements right now because they're sitting in warehouses, they're sitting on ships for months at a time. So I don't know how they're coming up with expiration dates on these things.
Right.
Machine Mentality supplements are coming from Denver, Colorado. They come from a super clean facility that follows all of FDA's regulations. They are an ultra clean facility. They package all of the supplements that you or Mikey or Jason would be taking, and they ship them right to your house. They're not coming out of my trunk. They're not coming out of my garage. Even if you go to a local supplement shop, I have no idea how long those supplements have been in the back of the store, how long they've been in the sunlight. You know how reckless people are. I don't know why we have so much trust in these little places that we go to. Right. Like like some people don't trust their friends cooking, but they trust McDonald's. Right. And I don't want to use like McDonald's. I don't want to use it. Like it is what it is, but I have no idea what's going on in that kitchen. Right. Like I have no idea. Right. So I don't know. True. Like, you could see in there. But we don't know is my point. So human beings are very funny creatures to study. And my line of work right now, the only way I will stay relevant in this world is if I can have the empathetic effect on these guys and I can relate to them and I can build relationships with them and I can mentor them the right way. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the weight room is the weight room. The weights are my props, my couch, if I'm going to be a psychologist to these kids, right? Yeah. And we are walking and talking out problems. Yeah. So I can get so much done with your son in the gym, but if I'm just programming his exercises and I'm just forcing him one more rep, there's no personal growth there. Yeah, I'm going to turn him into a beast. Yep. But ChatGPT can provide this programming. Yep. I'm going to read you something. So something has to separate anybody that is in a service-based sector right now. If they don't have the ability to interact with human beings at a seriously great level, they're going to become obsolete pretty quickly. Right. The fact that you're saying, because I could visualize what you're doing at the gym with these kids. You're not just showing them how to lift dumbbells and do push-ups or sprint back and forth outside. You're doing more than that. Yeah, I love to see the kids get stronger. You're changing their lives. I have to talk to their brains constantly because it's the only thing that's going to make them successful in life. Yeah. I'm going to read you something. Go ahead. Okay. Training with Mike Santini has honestly changed a lot for me.
in my life. I've gotten way more explosive, stronger, and more confident, not just in sports, but how I feel about myself overall. My body has changed, and now when I look in the mirror, I like what I see, and that gives me confidence that I didn't have before. He's not just a trainer. He's a mentor and a friend. He pushes me way beyond what I thought I could do. He had me doing things I never imagined, like power, cleans, maybe I'm saying this wrong.
Yeah.
Benching and boxing jumps. And somehow, even while pushing me to my limits, he's still cracking jokes and telling the best stories, including some hilarious ones about my dad. But the best part is he really cares. He checks in and asks me what's going on in my life and always makes me feel like I matter. That makes a huge difference. I'm really lucky to have him in my life. And that's my son.
I love him. I love Mikey.
Okay, I want to read you something else. It's right here. I'm looking at my phone. Mike is a great guy. I went to him for a few years working out for football, but mainly focused this summer before my senior year of high school. That summer, he made a huge impact on me and pushed me to be my best. I went from never seeing the field on varsity to starting, which was mostly due to Mike. He pushed me beyond my limits to be the best person and athlete I could, and I cherish those ideas and continue to go to the gym because of how much he made me enjoy it. Love the dude so much and such a great person, Carter. Okay, so I've been at Mike's for almost 4 years now, and he's helped me through when I was going to quit baseball and kept having me stay in it, pushing through all the times I've been benched and not getting any playing time. He has helped me get stronger and helped me stay in baseball, especially my sophomore year when I was on freshman. Sophomore, as the only sophomore, he got me to stay consistent in the gym and get better and faster. He's helped me through all the people that have doubted me. Chase.
Where'd you get these?
I reached out to them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I knew, like, it's funny because, like, knowing you're coming here, I'm like, I need, like, he doesn't have any kind of testimonials. And I really believe that you could get online and do your videos and talk about things. But when you hear how you make other people feel, that's how you make an impact on this world. And that's how you bring community. And what you're doing is you're changing these kids' lives. And that's going to be a trickle effect. They're going out and they're going to change people's lives because that felt really good for them to have someone like you.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That's what you're creating. And I know that's your intention. And I'm letting you know, and maybe this is on a small scale because, right, we're only here in Scottsdale, Arizona, but you're doing it. And the more you do it, the more it's going to be continued. And I just thought of something, and there was something on social media I've seen a couple times now, and it really irks me. And it's something like, you realize that the people that they say it in a way, but the people that make fun of their friends and break each other's like balls and just are mean to their friends, are more successful in life. And I keep seeing that. I'm like, that's just actually the opposite.
Wait.
Do you see that?
You might be misinterpreting the message. Okay. So they're not talking about berating one another and they're not talking about actual ridicule. They're talking about what Jason and I do and Artie.
Okay.
What's up, jerk off?
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
we don't know any other way to go about it.
And I love that. I love that. But I think of, like my son coming home or getting in the car and crying, saying so-and-so called me fat.
We're talking about two different things
we are.
right now.
Yeah, because I know
we're talking about wild ways East Coast guys have terms of endearment. Right. And we're talking about malicious little brats at school that are trying to ruin Mikey's day. Yeah. We're talking about completely separate things right now. So if you have an environment, because not everybody has that, right? So not everybody has an Artie or even a Gonzo or like I can break Luis's balls, right? And he's laughing with me over it because he knows that it's not coming from a bad place. Totally. It's like, what's going on, old man? You're having trouble getting out of the chair right now. Yeah. He's going to laugh and he's going to be like, oh, you're going to be there in 6 years, bro. You know?
Yeah.
So it's it's completely different, but the ones that are having the success that are coming out of that scenario, it's because they feel loved.
Yeah.
Like it's because Johnny Trischetti said, "What's going on, jerk off?" Like, you know what I mean? Tough guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like all of these things are negative connotations. Somebody walks up to me on the street and goes, "What's going on, tough guy?"
Yeah.
If I don't know him, I'm punching him in the face. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not asking any questions at that point. There's nothing to talk about.
Right.
We'll deal with that later. But if Trischetti came up to me and just started calling me Michael, I'd be really weird.
Right.
I'd be like, "What's going on right now?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Did I do something wrong?"
Yeah.
To you? So no, I totally understand what you're saying. And I agree with you on so many levels, but when it comes to work relationships and you have that type of relationship with somebody, because you could think you have that relationship with somebody, and I've crossed this boundary a few times when I have said something. My main thing is you're a maniac.
Right.
And I love maniacs. I love lunatics. So I call a lot of people maniacs and lunatics.
Yeah.
Sometimes people look at me and they're like, "I'm not crazy."
Right.
And like, I'm like, what? I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm just calling you a maniac. I'm a maniac. Everybody's a maniac. We're all maniacs. I love maniacs." I'm like, like we don't live like everybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But some people just don't get it. So then it's like, okay, I can't joke around with this person about that type of stuff. And then the whole entire conversation has to kind of regress. Right. Because I just got called out on something that I thought I was complimenting somebody on. If you're crazy, I like you. Like, you're crazy, I like that about you.
Right.
You know? So yeah, words do matter.
Yes.
Hugely. But under certain circumstances, locker room talk is okay.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
You know?
Got it.
But so people could be getting those social media posts confused. And now nobody really knows what's supposed to be a joke and what's supposed to be taken literally.
Right.
So it might cause some problems in school.
Yeah.
Where kids are trying to be sincerely funny with another kid.
Right.
But the other kid gets offended now because we live in a very soft society.
Yep. Yeah.
Victims. We have too many of those in society as well. So if we live in a completely selfish, individualistic society where nobody's willing to help out their neighbors, and this is something that you and I can relate to because we both hear about how strong of personalities people from Jersey and Brooklyn have. You hear it all at a time, almost to the point where we're not nice people, right? You know what I'm saying? The genuineness, though, that comes from somebody on the East Coast. I read this a few years ago, and I don't know exactly how the story went, but it was about a person having a flat tire, and then there were two people, a person from Los Angeles and a person from New York or Jersey, that was driving down the road next to the person with the flat tire. And the analogy went, the person from LA is going to open the window and say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for you. This is horrible. It's terrible." Zoom, they're leaving. The person from New York is actually going to get out the car. He's going to be like, "What the hell did you do, jackass?" Right. And then he's going to jack your car up and fix your tire. Yep. So I don't know which one you would rather have, but I would rather have the real person that's going to call me a jackass because I got a flat. Yep. And then is going to help me fix it. Right. And then we're probably going to go out for a beer or something afterwards and become great friends. Exactly. This is an issue I have with perceptions of people. Right. I have a huge problem with us living in a victim society right now. And that's another reason why I want to create all of these powerful mindset type tools where if you're taking a supplement of mine and you look at the bottle, there's a machine head on it. So you feel like a Terminator. It's a half man and it's a half machine. Right. If I could get people to believe that they're machines, like we will live in a significantly better society. I'm not talking about AI. I'm talking about I'm a well-oiled machine. I can accomplish anything. I want my kids, I want Mikey to think he can run through a cinder block wall. Yeah. And once you're able to do that, and build their mindset the right way, then they can accomplish anything. But if their mind isn't right, I don't care how much talent they have, they can't make it. Because once you get to a certain level, everybody's the same. And then it's the only people that actually thrive and succeed and stay in the game are the people like Luis that have it up top.
Right. How do you get your mind right as a young kid? How do you help them? Like, so you building this community, what does that look like? Is it everyone has a water bottle? If you constantly have the intentions, is it just like, what does this?
Okay, so let's talk about it, right? So let's take a kid Mike's age. So a kid right around the 7th grade, let's just say hypothetically. So he has the 8th grade, then he has high school, then he has college if he doesn't get drafted out of high school, which would be a great scenario. If you have a certain amount of years now, if you're in my position and I get a chance to really groom that person into being somebody great, I at least need to make sure that they know every single thing that it takes.
Yeah.
So I have to take somebody like Luis's son, Jacob, who I trained when he was 11, all the way up until he was through high school almost. I forgot where I was going with that.
Like, meaning, how do you get them there? How do you?
No, I know. Hold on a second. So I was saying that I have a certain amount of years to work with these guys, and I at least need to. That I'm using Jacob as an example.
Yeah.
So I at least need to be able to point to a person like Jacob and then tell that story about him not going to that high school party in order to affect somebody like Mike that will say to me, wait a second, when Jacob was a sophomore, he missed the high school party. Yeah, he made $2 million when he got drafted when he was a senior in high school, though.
Right.
Now a light bulb goes off in Mike's head.
Yep.
That could cause him not to want to go to that party. Or even if he wants to go to that party, if he has a commitment in the morning, like a 10 a.m. game, he's going to get his rest because he knows how important that is.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that we were lacking, like your husband and myself, was we just didn't have the proper, like, coaching as far as everything it took to get there. I could put down on a table every single step it takes to get there. And now if you're missing on any one of those things, you're not going to get there. That's how difficult it is to get paid to play a sport. Right. We didn't have that roadmap. So we were just doing stuff. We're just hitting off tees. We were going to the park with our friends. We were just doing stuff. We didn't know what colleges to contact. We didn't know we needed to promote ourselves. We knew nothing. Today, literally everything is out there for these kids. Like, you know exactly what you need to do. You know exactly how much work you need to put in. This is literally on you. This is an accountability issue. And then from that point on, it's overcoming deficits that makes the hardest athletes. If somebody has a really easy time, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. And that's why I told Mike that him playing smaller right now is good for him because when he does have his growth spurt, then he's going to remember his smaller days and all of those guys that he had to really outstride and outwork when he was younger. Now it'll take a little bit less, but he should still just be able to push them around once he catches up to them. And I just had that conversation with him because he was a little bit insecure about, he said he wished he was a little bit taller. And this was just yesterday we were having this conversation. And I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I said, I seen some small guys who hit growth spurts that went right past all of the bigger guys because those guys are always used to playing big and they used to playing against smaller guys. Once everybody else is the same size as them, they don't know how to handle themselves on the field. So everybody's got problems. The big guys have problems. The small guys have problems. The rich guys have problems. The broke guys have problems. Everybody has problems. It's just how are you going to perceive your problems? Like, what is your perception of your own problems going to be, and how are you going to overcome that? So if you're playing smaller, do you have to change certain things about your game? Maybe you shouldn't be swinging out of your shoes trying to hit the ball over the fence if you don't have the ability to hit the ball over the fence. So you need to be a line drive hitter. You need to hit gaps. You need to do your job on the field in order to get recognized.
Right.
So understanding who you are as a person determines how you go about your life, I hope. But if you never look in the mirror and you never get a clear objective of who you are and what your capabilities are, then you'll never reach your maximum potential. And you shouldn't reach your maximum potential because you don't even know what you're worth.
Right.
And most of the time, us as human beings, we go around, we think, most people thinks less of themselves than the people that are viewing them. Mm-hmm. Every once in a while, you get that one person and you're like, what the hell, who told this person he was funny?
Right.
Or like, who told this person they could dress like that?
Yeah.
Like you see these people, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the masses. It's like 1 out of 10
Right.
people. You go to a restaurant and
Right.
all of a sudden somebody's walking in and you're like, what made that person think they could do that? So for the most part, everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing, and it literally is a personal choice, and then it just takes grit to actually get the stuff moving in the right direction.
Yep.
But I've seen a lot of lazy, really good athletes, and they didn't even come close to making it.
Yeah.
And then I've seen some guys that weren't super good, but they had great work ethic, and they're still playing. Right. They'll never get a major league contract. But they're in their like 5th year of D3 college baseball, and they really love to play the game.
Yeah.
Like,
that's awesome.
Like Anthony's like that.
Right.
He walks to his own beat, that kid, mm-hmm. and like it didn't really matter. He's just going out there playing.
Yeah.
He's having a good time.
He just loves the game.
Playing in men's leagues, softball leagues, so all of this stuff doesn't matter.
No.
So it's once back to what I was saying though, once people start to, and you see this on a daily basis, and I don't want to say women have a more victim mentality than men, because that would be really like not okay, because I think that women talk about it more. Mm-hmm. So like you get invited to more lunches that I get invited to. Like I don't get invited to lunches and like we're going to talk about our significant other, or we're going to like, this doesn't happen with men.
Right.
It happens more with women. Right. But I think that you could turn yourself into a victim, and you can look at an experience and remove the victim label from yourself. And you did have something to do with it, whether it have been with a coach or with a friend falling out, or a business relationship falling out, or a romantic relationship falling out. You see it happen too often in life, mm-hmm. where everybody's just constantly blaming the other person. Nobody's taking any accountability for their own actions.
Yeah.
And nothing is ever going to be resolved at that point, because you're just going to bounce from person to person, from business to business, from career to career, blaming your last boss, blaming your last significant other for every single thing that went wrong in your relationship. And I highly doubt that's the case in a high percentage of these situations.
Right.
Where maybe somebody was a little bit more pushy than the other person, but everybody has something to do with the end of their relationship.
Yeah.
So I don't like it when like, let's just say I am going to take on somebody as a trainer. Mm-hmm. And I ask them about their previous experiences working at different gyms. Mm-hmm. If this person explains to me that the last 5 people he worked for screwed him over, I can't give him a job.
No way.
So, and it's the same thing with women. Mm-hmm. If I'm out on a date with a girl and every single person she's dated for the last 10 years has done her dirty, mm-hmm. and it's almost like, all right, so you're not taking accountability for anything that's gone wrong in your life for a whole 10-year period. Will you at least take accountability that you suck at picking the right person?
Right.
Like something, like there's got to be some sort of accountability. So I teach these kids accountability.
That's awesome.
They need to be accountable. Mm-hmm. And we're living in a society that is allowing people to become less and less accountable. Yep. we live in a society where we're protecting people's feelings more so than calling them out on their bullshit. And we have to turn it around. It is turning around right now. I mean, you don't see a lot of the crazy stuff that we were dealing with 2 years ago in society, not bringing anything up, but things do need to change. People need to start taking more accountability. People need to care about other people more.
Right.
We need to get away from individualism. I see it happening. And, you know, I was always on the fence whether or not college ball players should be getting paid. I was always on the fence. I knew that it was going to disrupt the normalcy of college sports, but I felt like those kids were getting taken advantage of. So I saw both sides of it. And I was like, either way it goes, I can agree with. But I do notice now that colleges aren't colleges anymore. They're a place for these kids to do business. So a kid can literally spend time at 6 colleges over the course of his college career, and transfer portal after transfer portal after transfer portal, NIL money, and you're chasing bigger deals. And I don't know how all of this just became a money-making enterprise the way it did, but I feel as though they literally ruined college sports with these new dealings and with the transfer portals. And this is crazy that I thought this way 20 years ago, but when cell phone companies started to reward people for switching, so when you went to Sprint, you got a $200 credit and a new phone and all of this. And I was like, we're literally teaching people not to be loyal to companies anymore. This is crazy.
Right, exactly.
And then it kept happening. It kept happening. And now we're at the point where it's like that across the board, where you can't even be loyal to a club team or a major league team or a college because Texas A&M might be giving me more money than LSU.
Yeah, it's wild.
So it's it's a pretty crazy world.
Nuts.
And being in the position where I am, watching it all evolve so fast, it's hard to keep up with.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this up. Tell me how people could get in touch with you. Tell me what you want.
So mentalityperformance.com is my new website.
Okay.
We just released this in February. I put an awful lot of work into it.
Okay.
I released this as a real version, but a beta version. Like, I just put it out there. I needed to put it out there. I was working off of an older web developer's software, and I wasn't getting the conversions and the sales.
Right.
But mentalityperformance.com is a new website that's built out on Shopify.
Okay.
The way I built it, and the reason why I built it the way I did, was because I wanted to be able to handle millions of orders if it happened that way.
Okay.
So if I'm talking to you about a 5-year plan where I plan to have pretty big aspirations to be changing the lives of millions of people, then I couldn't build out a small thing where I'm shipping supplements out from my garage.
Right.
I had to have major conversations with companies to make sure that they can fulfill every order I need, whether it be apparel, merchandise, artwork, supplements, water bottles, whatever it might be.
Right.
I have all of that stuff locked up now, so it's great, and everything's working awesome. Now I'm working on some nutritional workflows where you can get a template made out, customized for your individual needs. I'm not even going to probably charge for these templates, but on that template, we'll have recommended supplements. So hopefully, if I give people free nutritional templates that are dynamic, they will support my company's supplements, because they'll be on the nutritional template. So I have really big aspirations for what I want to do with the company, and that's the reason why I built out that website the way I did on Shopify. So I don't really have to go back once I reach a certain level of business and reinvent a whole bunch of stuff. It's set up forever now. And then at KC_grips on Instagram is going to be a second best place to find me.
Okay.
And then from there, you have links to the rest of my social media and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
You taking new clients?
Oh, yeah.
Young athletes?
100%. Young athletes, everybody.
Anyone.
So There are certain people that I won't train, and those are more personalities than individuals. I will help out anybody. Right. My summer program is starting in a couple of weeks from now.
Okay.
So as soon as these kids are out of school, I expect them in the gym once, if they are in town, 5 days a week, even up to 6 days a week in the summer.
Right.
That's when we can really dial in 8-week, 12-week programming cycles. This is when my athletes get the strongest and the fastest they've ever been in their lives.
Love it.
And we repeat it every summer and every Christmas break.
Okay.
During the season, like right now, it's very difficult for me to program stuff, but I need these guys in the gym a couple of days a week during the season so they can maintain everything. So this way we don't have to restart everything up when they do come back for the summer program where they're down 20 pounds of muscle because they just played a 30-game season.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now. Awesome. And summer program's coming up. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the book. We didn't really get a chance to talk about that. We will further.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything was great. Love the place. I love what you're doing.
You're awesome.
You're wearing an awesome hat.
Thanks.
Love the wig.
Thanks. You're not supposed to tell people. If people don't know I wear wigs at this point, then they don't know me.
They're crazy. Yeah, that's your alter ego.
It is. Yeah.
So like that's an example. If we got into the book, I was going to give you an example of your hair being your alter ego.
Yeah. I have a lot of them.
Yeah. I know.
I love it.
It's
good.
Thank
you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I thought it was awesome.
You're a local legend here in Arizona. Mike Santini, machine mentality.
Yeah.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Awesome, Jess. Love it.
Thank you.